These are the three horsemen of the retirement apocalypse. Welcome to the Industry Leader Update. There are three things that commonly wipe out a retiree's savings, or at least ensure misery and worry throughout their retirement years. Let's call them the three horsemen of the retirement apocalypse: credit card debt, health emergencies, and overspending. Now, unfortunately, it's not uncommon to see one or more of these dark riders invading the lives of an older American, especially one who may be living on a fixed income. Now, first, credit card debt. A recent survey by Clever reveals that 67% of Americans are carrying credit card debt. That is, they're not paying them off each and every month. Not surprising, considering that the Bureau of Labor and Statistics reports that retired Americans are outspending their annual income by $4,000 a year. While retirees typically do rely on savings or investments to help cover some of their shortfall each month, many are falling back on credit card purchases. And it's a painless choice in the moment, but it ensures financial pain in the future. Even more dangerous is the fact that retirees carrying credit card debt are enjoying relatively low interest rates today. However, as the Federal Reserve has announced their plan to increase interest rates repeatedly in 2022 and 2023, retirees are going to find that their minimum payments will be increasing at a time they can least afford it. Second, health emergencies. The Employee Benefit Research Institute says a 65-year-old man would need to save $72,000 just to have a 50% chance of affording health care expenses in retirement. And those who mistakenly believe that Medicare is going to cover all their medical expenses, well, they have a big surprise coming to them. Medicare does not cover prescription drugs, long-term care, doctor bills and co-pays, and also routine vision checks and dental and hearing aids. And all of those are common medical expenses that seniors incur. This is why it's wise for every retiree to have a Medicare supplement plan in place, as well as a modest dental and vision plan. Now, while those premiums for the supplemental plans are increasing each year, those increases pale in comparison to not having those medical expenses covered under Medicare Parts A and B. The third horseman is overspending. A majority of retirees regret not saving more or retiring later, and a study by the Employee Benefit Research Institute may reveal why. It found 46% of retired households actually spend more in the first 2 years of their retirement than they did in their final years leading up to retirement. The Institute also found 85% of retirees who spent 20% or more on medical expenses, they had a budget deficit. Overall, it is the retirees' spending habits during their working years that often predict their future spending habits in retirement. Keep that in mind. Practically speaking, retirees can often reduce their expenses by paring down to just one vehicle, and that would help them save on maintenance and insurance costs. Additional savings may be found in menu planning before you go grocery shopping, looking up credit cards, or locking them up, in the family safe so they're not easily accessible, canceling subscriptions to shopping catalogs to avoid the temptation, just to name a few. Often older retirees are struggling with loneliness and a lack of purpose, and both of those can trigger depression and the temptation to comfort themselves with purchases, what I commonly refer to as retail therapy. Now, that can create a negative feedback loop, which begins with regret for the purchase, sadness at their choice, and then shopping to lift their spirits again. There are ways to banish these nightmarish apparitions, the three horsemen. One is to return to part-time work to help cover monthly expenses. Another is to consolidate debt with a credit card balance transfer or a personal consolidation loan. Not always the best option, but it's there. And another is to tap into your home's value with a reverse mortgage. Using a home equity line of credit, by the way, is not a wise choice for someone who is already struggling to meet their monthly expenses. A reverse mortgage generates immediate cash flow, either by eliminating the existing mortgage principal and interest payments that they were making each month, or by providing a line of credit that can be tapped into whenever it is needed. Retirement can be wrought with uncertainty and worry. However, knowing where the common threats to retirement come from, that's the first step to a more worry-free retirement. Share your comments on today's show below, and I would also kindly ask that you take a moment and share today's episode on your social media accounts, Facebook, LinkedIn, or Twitter. Don't forget, you can catch all of our video content from HICKS World on YouTube. Just subscribe to our channel, HICKS World, and then enable the notifications. That way you'll see every new episode that comes out. Don't miss out on this week's podcast, by the way, HICKS World Weekly. We're going to be discussing the Mortgage Bankers Association's increased participation in reverse mortgage issues and much more. Apple users can also subscribe and listen on iTunes. Thanks again for joining us. Until next week, happy originating.